So this now, the Minister of Human Settlements, Thembi Simelane, tabled her budget vote in Parliament earlier today with a number of targets, including social housing units, improving the management of government's rental stock better, as well as improving collection of rental there. And the department also had to respond urgently to the communities that would have been impacted by natural disasters over time. And ahead of this budget vote, the DA raising concerns about the minister's ability to manage the budget presented today. Let's now speak to the minister about the budget and some of the issues that have arisen from there. Thembi Simelane, the Minister of Human Settlements, joins us this evening. Minister, good evening to you and thank you so much for your time. So some of the key outcomes, for example, you've mentioned a few, and there are some areas that need urgent attention. We cannot shy away from the natural disasters that have hit several provinces, the impact that this has had on your budget as well. And you're saying that the budget that you currently have to respond to the emergencies may not be enough.
Thank you very much, Bongi. You are correct. The budget may not be sufficient in relation to the disaster. But what we are trying to do, besides and beyond the classification that COCTA does, allowing us human settlement, amongst others, water and sanitation, transport, in terms of roads, to reprioritize and focus on areas which have been damaged. We're also looking into the introduction of building technologies which allow us into utilizing and dealing with innovative building technologies which are also climate savvy. Currently, we've also concluded the overview of all our informal settlements, about 4,075 in total, with the utilizing one of our entities, HDA. Why are we doing that? It's because we want to move ahead of the disasters in terms of trying to save lives and relocating those people. The reason why we're pushing on save stands on habitable land that would have passed the geological test is actually, even though you may not be able to provide a house at the current stand, but we are able to put a save stands and allocate properly to our people and then be able to build. In that way, you will be able to save lives, but also catch up with the backlog that you are able to do. We're dealing also with our beneficiary system, which tends to sieve out of the list. For example, in Gauteng, we've got around 1 million outstanding beneficiaries that are supposed to benefit from a various basket of our services as human settlement. So we are dealing with quite a number of all those issues to make sure that with the legal that we have, we are able to touch everyone.
Now, one of the confusing matters over time is around the list, right? Because you say that, for example, in Gauteng, there would be 1 million, but we've heard over time with some saying that, you'll speak to somebody who says, my name was on the list, but all of a sudden I'm no longer there. Now there's somebody else, and then someone else is in my home. They should not be there. And then we heard of a possible, online or digital way to now manage this particular housing list. So has that happened, and are you now able to be in a position to say just how far back does your backlog go?
Well, we've just contracted with SITA, which is our state institution in terms of IT. The intention is to deal firstly with what would have been in the pocket of municipalities to allow you to be able to know what is in the stock of the beneficiaries. It will also deal with the areas that you have just touched on. A challenge, for example, your house occupied by someone and you did not even know that your house is out. There are residents who are outside houses but are receiving bills from municipalities registered in their names, which means that your house was allocated to me. We are working closely with the SIU in terms of handing over of those information for us to be assisted to get to the fact that how did it happen that there was cross allocation. But then there are cases which are going to be dealt with in this digitization system, which then tells you, and you don't necessarily have to go to a municipal office all the time. You want to know where are you on the list, and it will avoid the issues of jump-ins in front of you, because the system will be able to allocate the time. Once the project is kicked in and it will tell you that your project is this one and your house is being built where, and you are allocated already, and you can keep track of that work. You can even visit the site, because now you know where the site is and where your allocation
Yeah.
will be. Of course, there will be quite a lot of inconsistencies, but what we want to say in the light of inconsistencies, we'll deal with them in terms of how our policy guides us, in terms of the definition of who are our vulnerable people, the elderly, people with disabilities, child-headed household. And we'll try to put the basket of the younger generation, which is deservedly needs houses, into the service stands package.
And especially because you think about in some of these instances that we'll hear that there are young people who don't necessarily qualify for these RDP houses and should be looking at being employed versus just relying on government to be able to provide some of those housing. So it's quite interesting that you speak about that. But in about 30 seconds, let's talk about the impact that the budget cuts would have had on what you've now had to table.
Tremendous, Bongi, tremendous. We would have wanted, at least even if it's a growth of about 5%, to just be able to cushion us. And you can see that we are minimum at that. So what it means, it creates a very little movement in terms of our baseline as it was articulated in the previous financial years to ensure that there is growth.
Yeah.
So it means in your gap housing financing, for example, your first home, our target initially before the cuts, assuming that we will get the growth, we were targeting double of what we will be delivering now, which is around 5,000 or so support into the systems of first home owners. And this is an important package which also allows our people who are not approved by commercial banks earning between 3,500 and 22,000 to be able to get some form of subsidy in a form of a grant, so that you remove them from the beneficiary RDP housing list allocation, because they actually don't belong into that bracket.
Yeah.
But if we are getting lesser and lesser, then such programs cannot be accelerated. And what does it do? It increases into the social basket of what government needs to give, which is for free. But we do believe that we will be able to deliver every cent that has been allocated to make sure that we don't even turn back the little that we've received.
So when you speak about delivering and spending every cent here, you are aware that the Democratic Alliance is saying that the police have confirmed that there's a criminal investigation against you, which they say regards alleged theft of more than 700,000 rand by what they are calling fraudulent billing to Eskom, for a company that they say you worked for, and they say that your signatures are on those fraudulent invoices.
I was an employee, I've clarified myself, and I was in a position of responsibility in that company. I'll be worried if the investigations are run by the DA. If there is a confirmation besides what I know, that it is the DA that opened that case, rightly so, it needs to be investigated by the police. So I don't know what does the confirmation that there is a criminal case against me mean. Because what you need to do as a responsible citizen is to open a case and leave the police, the law enforcement agencies, to do their work. Now, if they even have a confirmation that I don't have from SABC, I'm getting worried.
So are you saying...
I've got nothing to hide. I've got nothing to hide. In fact, Bongi, this was an investigation done by Eskom. I can share the report with you.
I think you
I've
should.
requested it. There's not even my name in that report. I was an employee, just like you being an employee of SABC, and you happen to work as in the accounting division. You will sign what is submitted to you to claim. I work for this company for 7 months. What they are alleging is corruption, is my salary, which is determined as an employee in the period of 7 months, including kilometers and everything else. But am I worried that it has to be investigated? Not at all, but not by the Democratic Alliance.
Wait.
You also don't investigate.
Are you saying that the police have not notified you that there's a criminal investigation against you?
Let me repeat it again, Bongi. I am saying so. I have never been informed by the police nor Eskom. When did Eskom run this investigation? Between 2019 and 2021. Who were they using? They were using lawyers. Was I called for an interview? No. Was I called by SIU? No. Have I been called by the police? No. I'm very clear. No. In all the structures that had investigated that case, what does the DA do knowing that having the very same report from ESCOM. They go to a police station to report. I'm not worried, it's okay. They've reported. Wait for the investigation. I have not yet been called even by SABC for a greeting to say good morning, we are here, we are investigating. I'm still waiting for that and I will cooperate. This is trial by the media, by DA. Nothing else. It's trial by the media.
While you wait, are you worried?
I'm not worried at all. That's why I'm here delivering a budget. Tomorrow I'm delivering houses. That's what my intention is. Yesterday I gave a title deed to a 94-year-old here in Bishop Levis. A relocation, forced removal in Goodwood. That's my work. I'm supposed to restore that dignity. That's what I'm doing. I was tabulating my budget today. I'm at work. I'm not worried about that. I want SAPS actually to investigate.
So they speak about the signatures that they say appear on the very first of these alleged fraudulent invoices that they say directly implicate you. And yes, you say you were brought some invoices and all of that, but to your knowledge, were these invoices that were brought to you above board?
They were above board. I know the members of staff, even the journalist who was engaging with me, who asked the questions. I even gave them names. Who did I oversee, from what area, because there were cluster offices in that project. I left after having been employed for 7 months by that company. Even that was not satisfactory. They went to open a case. I'm saying, Bongi, I have not been contacted by the police, by ESCOM, which is looking for its money, assisted by the SIU. So why is the DA with my name on the media, trying me before the system that they have even followed themselves, going to the police? Are you having a report, or they have a report which says the police is saying she's not cooperating, she's not coming, we can't find her? They can come to the SABC and catch me now. That's how easy it has been for you to find me, to talk to you. So the police, they will find me. Anyway, I have never been contacted since 2019 when this contract was investigated. Not by a small law firm, big, the top 5 in the country.
Okay.
In that report, I'm not even named. Simple.
So then I guess as we end off, I'll wait for you to share that report with me, as you've now managed to ask for it, and we'll then go through it and see what happens. But thank you so much for speaking to us, and certainly we'll follow up with the other parts of the story just to get a sense of what's going on here. Thank you so much, Minister, for your time. Appreciate it. That was Thembi Simelane, Human Settlements Minister.